I'm one of the highest jumpers in the world. Specifically, I'm the highest jumper in the world that's above 6 foot. I was a former world record holder for the approach vertical, and here's my workout. So the exercise I was doing at the beginning was isometrics. Here I'm doing jump dynamic flexibility. The purpose of this warm-up is to decrease your risk of tendon pain and get you prepared for what you're about to do. Then I lead into a barbell warm-up, which is mimicking all the exercises that we're going to be doing this workout. And then we start into the explosive lift. In today's workout, I did 7 sets of 3 at 75% of my max for power clean with a high catch. Now, the reason we're going so light is because I've been neurally fried. My power outputs haven't been very good, and there's just no point in going super heavy if I'm just going to fail and practice bad reps. So here, I'm just trying to accumulate a lot of volume at slightly higher loads, catching high. And this almost, when I do workouts like this, it almost feels, here I'm singing lyrics, but it almost feels like it wakes my nervous system up. I've had, I think, 2 weeks in a row of bad lifts and subpar jumping. And this is after, 2 months of essentially my highest jumping days ever. So we're just trying to come out of this lift feeling good as far as the power work. I built up to, again, 75%, which for me is 245. And what's crazy is I actually failed my first set. And my first thought when I failed my first set at 245, which I think is going to be shown here. I'm not the one who edited through this. I'm just doing the voiceover. But yeah, I failed the third rep. And at first I was like, I don't know if you guys have watched some animes where like they start doing an internal monologue and they start like thinking like, oh my God, what could it have been, blah, blah, blah. And I started going into that internal monologue. Like, am I fatigued? Am I detrained right now? But then I had, my wife was doing the workout with me, and I gave her my phone and I was like, record this. I'm going to and she was like, is everything okay? Like, what happened? Why did you fail? And I was like, just record this. I'm going to there it is. There's the fail. But I was like, I'm literally just going to try as hard as I can. And I believe it's this set right here. Hit the first rep like nothing. Went straight into the second rep without trying to think about it. And then before my brain could even process, I was like, just go straight into the third rep. Got it super easy. And it was honestly a lesson in intent. There's going to be days when you're going to show up and you don't feel like trying hard. And this is where another benefit of power cleans come in, is they teach you how to try hard. I think trying hard is a trainable skill. And it's an extremely important one because your progress is directly proportional to your intent when you train and when you jump. The harder you try, the more like your nervous system has to be just dialed up. All the freaking chemical signals that are being sent are going to be way higher. How many muscle fibers you recruit, it's going to be way higher. How much you load the muscles, it's going to be way higher. Your tendons, how much you stretch them, way higher, which is going to lead to more adaptation later down the line. And when you multiply that intent over the course of 1 year, 2 years, you take an athlete that had even slightly higher intent over every single lift in a 2-year span compared to that same athlete with less intent, even if it's like 10%, the progress will be night and day different. So I urge you guys to practice intent, specifically on the power work. So your power cleans, your squat jumps, your jump sessions, plyos, max intent, quality over quantity, which is why, again, we're doing high catch, 7x3, 75%. Because as you start getting to those heavier weights, it becomes a little tougher to try hard. So take that lesson and apply it into your training. The second part of the lift is belt squat, 8x3, last 3 sets at 80%. If you don't have access to this machine, you can do front squats, you can do back squats, you can do leg press, anything that loads the hell out of your quads. And 80% is pretty aggressive here. And the reason I've been doing this is I was having a lot of issues with my tendon, specifically at the hip, TFL, where your quad attaches at the greater trochanter. And what we found is going slow actually wasn't helping because of how much compression I was undergoing. But deep squatting is super beneficial for my jumping. And I was in a weird crossover point where I could train hard and I could have jump sessions, but I couldn't do heavy, slow resistance training because it was too provocative. And we found that just doing heavy triples, bouncing out of the bottom, working up to about a 2 or 3 out of 10 pain kept me making progress. And I actually got really, really healthy. And I was literally just working up to a heavy triple for the last 2 months. But I've started to plateau a little bit. Now we have to shift the focus to, spur more adaptation. So we added more volume by doing last 3 sets at 80% instead of just building to a top set. And because of that, I actually feel way more sore. My quads are sore for the first time in a long time because of the novel stimulus. For the last part of the workout, we did a superset light calf raises 4x4. The reason we went light is because I've been dealing with some ankle sprain on both my ankles. Terrible, I know. And then RDLs, moderate to heavy at the end to finish the workout. If you don't have ankle problems, then you can go heavy on these. Having said that, guys, if you want to try my training, my coaching for 90% off your first month, go to THPstrength.com. The links are in the description. Bunch of free stuff down there as well. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.